Again, guys, we're going to go over something you might be seeing on anytime I shoot video on this printer in a little bit. And it's a funny little mod I made last night that has improved the print, especially since it's still winter here where I am, and there's some drafts in this old house that I'm in. I took a CD jewel case, sorry for the shake here, I should have my tripod down, but it's just a quick one. I took a CD jewel case, split it in half, and put some wire across the top. That's just floor hanger wire. And I've used it to cover up the openings on the front, or on the left and right side of my Fabricator Mini version 1. If you've got a version 1.5, you'd have to get a third to cover the front. What this does is once you're printing, it just hangs over there and covers the hole, and if you bend the wire just right, it'll sit flush against this. Now, you know that your Fabricator Mini bed comes further forward than this, so if you're not just printing small things, you'll want the bed to be able to push the door out of the way, and that's why it hangs from the top. So you can see it just opens and closes. But for the most part, if I'm printing smaller items, I want the detail to be good, and I've printed a few things. Let's have a look here. Some jewelry type things that it was getting cold drafts and it was splitting. Put this bed system in, or this, sorry, not bed system, this modification for a quick mod for chamber doors, makes the build chamber get hot, and I found that the everything, even I can lower the temperature on the extruder head, and the layer adhesion is so much better. Geez, I can't talk this morning. The parts have come out really strong, so I could probably print a little quicker now. It's just probably an issue with living somewhere cold. Now if you look in there, there's a light bar. It's just a row of LEDs on a circuit board. Comes from one of these light pens. I've taken the diffuser off for the one that's inside the printer, but this just has a little acrylic diffuser or something on the front, if you'll see. And inside this is just a single strip that runs on 3 AAA, so I just changed the resistor on it till it would run from an old cell phone charger at 5 volts, and stuck it in there, and made sure that the resistor value I had was not overly bright in there so that I could film, because you can see this little fellow here is extremely bright, and it's pretty good for getting video. That's why I got a second one, but it was pretty decent for $3 whether you keep this as a flashlight or just strip it for its LEDs. The other thing I did is I put a piece of I can't remember what this plastic was from. I think it was the container for a type of molding that I have, and I just cut it to a short piece of length, because if you see on the Fabricator Mini, there's that little circular cutout that would normally be in the slot, and my Bowden tube was catching in that, and when I was printing tall thin things, I was actually noticing that there was a little, like a I guess a wave distortion in it, and since I've done this, that's gone. I don't see that on the Z-axis at all. Other than that, other than the, now you can see it really good there, other than the CD jewel case mod, that's pretty much the most important thing. It's been allowing the temperature in that chamber to get really hot, because now remember, the extruder on the end of there is going to be over like almost 200 degrees. The stepper motors and the control board below actually vent up. There's a slot in the bottom of the printer, if you've got a version 1, that allows those items supposedly to let their heat vent up into the print area. But most of the heat in there is radiated by the print head and or the hot end, and a lot of it is picked up by the build plate and keeps that area very hot. In fact, I'm pretty sure I could print ABS so much better now, just by closing the sides in for small parts. Now bigger parts are going to open the sides, and I know that's going to let a little bit of a draft in, but I don't think too much, because there's going to be a decent amount of hot air built up in there. I mean, it gets really hot in there. It takes a little while for the area to cool down for you to get the part out after safely without bending the part. But it's allowed it to go a little bit faster, and some of the prints are actually coming off a little bit better. It's such a simple thing to do, just an old jewel case. Probably everybody's got one hanging around for an old CD that they don't care about, or back in the days when they used to put computer software on magazines with free jewel cases, you probably got one from that. So if you have to print somewhere where it's drafty, or you just want to try letting the chamber get a little bit warmer, this is probably a really simple, super cheap update to do. And what you can see there's another piece of wire you can see in on the Y carriage. That's actually the same kind of wire that the jewel case is hanging from. That's just taped with some Kapton tape to the side of the Y carriage. It goes down and holds my light bar, and that keeps my light bar relative to the Y carriage, so as the part goes up, the lights go up with it. I should probably do a video on that later. But anyhow, that's just a small update to some of the things I've done to my little Fabricator Mini. As always, like if you like, comment if you got any questions or comments, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Here's just some footage I shot earlier while I was printing one of the objects for my niece. And here you can see the print head's actually running in there and heating the chamber up, and it's being closed in pretty well by that jewel case. You can actually see the reflection on my finger in the jewel case. The jewel case is actually clear enough, I suppose, if I cleaned it a little bit better, that you can see right through it, like it wasn't there. In fact, a little while in between this shot and the next shot, I actually went to reach in and flick a piece of dust out that was on the bed, and of course my finger smacked into the jewel case, so I'm probably going to have to put a little piece of tape or something on it to remind me. But right there, as you can see, there's some fingerprints in the top corner. And here you'll see that with the lighting just a little bit different, how easy it is for the print bed to push it when it's done. But anyways, if you have any questions or whatnot, ask them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.